Mamati ka na ka bright na din.
Okay, again, good morning, and let me also remind our participants to please be sure to mute your microphones to minimize background. And also, let me again remind our participants to please register via Google Docs, the link of which is provided in the chat box. We need your registration in order to confirm your attendance and for the sending of certificates. And we also provided you with a copy of the virtual background for this seminar. You may download it via our chat box. So it would be nice if all of us will have the same background, especially when we have the photo ops later. And then again, for those who haven't changed their usernames, please do so as flashed in your screen. formally start this event, let us hear a welcome message from the VP for Academics, the Dean of our School of Graduate Studies, Dr. Susan S. Ventura.
The dynamic University President of Biliran Province State University, Dr. Victor C. Cañezu Jr., the equally supportive Vice Presidents, Dr. Rosini B. Romero, Dr. Erwin G. Salvachera, and Dr. Marian Agnes T. Mendoza, our brilliant resource persons for this activity, Dr. Rodolfo Altamirano and Dr. Sandeep Pudar, the kind professor of the course DM613, the Chief Administrative Officer for Administration, Dr. Concepcion M. Gayrama, the very active SAIDS President, Mr. Estelito R. Salud Jr., the ever supportive BiPSU Faculty Regent, Honorable Vinnie G. Cotun, School of Graduate Studies professors and students, ladies and gentlemen, my warmest greetings to everyone. According to Herans, networks represent an increasingly important approach to delivering public services and present dilemmas for governmental managers tasked to coordinate public resources in network settings. He further noted that public management scholars agree that many public policies and programs are not administered and delivered by a single government agency. Instead, are often jointly coordinated and implemented through a range of multi-agency agreements, partnerships, collaboratives, and networks involving both governmental and non-governmental organizations. With that being said, Biliran Province State University, as one of the governmental agencies operating in the country, heavily relies on its networks to successfully deliver its plans and programs to its stakeholders. The university's success is not solely attributed to the organization alone, but to every entity that forms part of its complex web of networks. Just like BiPSU's 5-year strategic development plan, dubbed as Web of Opportunities of Biliran Province State University, it highlights the 10 waves that represent distinct purposes and outcomes reflective of the aspirations of the university. The different strategic objectives stipulated in this plan have been gradually achieved because of the unwavering support of the different identified networks, be it a governmental or non-governmental organization, and all its stakeholders. Our university president, Dr. Victor C. Cañezu Jr., underscored that this wave of opportunities necessitates threads of support systems that will assure us and make us worthy of being a higher education institution commissioned to contribute efforts to poverty alleviation, support human capital formation, and become a technology-driven university to national development. Hence, considering network management strategies is a bold step for organization managers to pursue to attain their desired vision. I am genuinely grateful to the organizing class, DM613, for spearheading this kind of webinar with the presence of our outstanding international speakers. They can give us essential points on this topic. This international webinar will address the need not just for DM students, but for the entire participants in this worthy and significant engagement to widen our knowledge of network management. This activity is vital to venture a new global perspective of networking while addressing diversity and inclusivity issues and seeing new ways or approaches to sustain quality education through networking in this challenging time. On behalf of the BiPSU School of Graduate Studies, the International Affairs Office, headed by Dr. Maribel Insipagan, and the Gender and Development Office, led by Dr. Marian B. Dagailoan, I would like to welcome all the participants in this Zoom platform and those who are live streaming via Facebook Live to this virtual engagement entitled International Webinar on Networking Management Strategies. May you bring many key takeaways from our resource speakers and apply such to your respective stations. Thank you for your presence, and may you enjoy the rest of this one-day webinar. Once again, a pleasant morning.
Thank you so much, Ma'am. We are surely welcome. Let us give our Dean a virtual applause by pressing on our clap buttons on our Zoom platforms. Now for the statement of purpose of this event, let me call on one of the students of the TM613 class from Pangasinan, who is also working as a training officer at the Ordoneta City office and an instructor at the Ordoneta City University, Mr. Romel Angeles.
Good morning to all, and have a blessed Sunday to everybody. A Doctor of Management program is designed to help prepare, to think and act strategically while enhancing making positive management contributions in the chosen path career. The knowledge that may develop from a Doctor of Management degree is designed to help build advanced research skills and tools to help confront complex problems within the industry. With this international webinar on networking management strategies is postulated to enunciate the expectation from the Doctor of Management students to think and act strategically while enhancing the ability to make positive management contributions. This webinar is created to realize one of the purposes of this course for the Doctor of Management students, pursuing the ideas derived from networking, and also to communicate the relevance of networking in this challenge time while considering the values that need to be addressed on gender-based issues in networking, along with the best practices in sustaining the quality of education through networking. Making advantage of technology-based platforms like social media to gather supports, links, and collaboration. Networking is an excellent method of knowing how real-world companies work. Networking is essential to just taking human resource management or any management-related allied programs as new and expanding opportunities can be achieved. We can understand the advent of social media and networking has become a lot easier. It is an excellent method to know new aspects of broadening one's careers, profession, or organization. This international webinar will address the need for Doctor of Management students to widen their knowledge of networking management. This webinar is fitting platform in which this pandemic hinders or limit in-face interactions, but still real-time engagement is event. This activity is vital to venture a new global perspective of networking while addressing diversity and inclusivity issues and seeing new ways or approach to sustain quality education through networking in this challenging time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our virtual applause, please.
Thank you.
At this point, let us hear an inspirational message from no other than the BiPSU President, Dr. Victor C. Caniezo, Jr.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sipagan. To our esteemed speakers who will be formally introduced later, we have Dr. Rodolfo Altamirano, the Director, International Student and Scholar Services, and Director of Immigration and Integration Services, Penn Global University of Pennsylvania, one of the Ivy League schools. And of course, we have Dr. Sander Pudar, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation of Lincoln College, and a member of Working Committee, Malaysian Citation Center. Ladies and gentlemen, to our, of course, graduate school, professors and students, key officials, a warm morning to all and welcome to the International Webinar on Networking Management Strategies. Firstly, let me congratulate the organizer of this webinar, the Doctor of Management class under the supervision of Professor Connie Gairama, and of course, the entire School of Graduate Studies headed by Vice President Dr. Susan Espentor, also the concurrent Dean of the School of the Graduate Studies, the International Affairs and the Gender and Development Office for, of course, coming up this activity. The webinar is very timely, especially that the university, through its internationalization initiatives, is expanding its network among higher education institutions across region and the globe. Indeed, we are deeply honored this morning as two of the well-respected personalities are joining with us to share their insights and inputs in networking management strategies. In a growing and developing organization such as Biliran Province State University, networking is important in the realization of its vision, mission, goals, and objectives. The university is not just only the provider of higher education, but also the prime mover of the society towards sustainable development and progress. Thus, there is a necessity for us to establish networks among organizations sharing the same vision as ours and would help us propel our driven interests in achieving the fourfold functions of the university: instruction, research, extension, and production. Further, Mader et al. In 2013 on their paper emphasized that universities are also significant societal actors. We shape our local, regional, and national environments and are therefore important drivers for a sustainable future. Hence, a new way of cooperation and networking between higher education and regional actors is required in order to take up society-driven challenges for a cooperative solution-finding process. On the other hand, Wakefield in 2015 underscored that in an increasingly globalized higher education system, transnational networking goes beyond conference attendance to entail multiple combinations of offline and online activities. Moreover, we argue that the term network in this context facilitates the individualistic pursuit of a career increasingly essential in a pressurized higher education environment. Heerans also in 2006 on his working paper noted that multi-sectoral networks potentially provide local policymakers and managers with operational levers to influence the multi-sectoral dynamics and performance of networks. He suggested to cultivate a strategic network management perspective that encompasses the public, the nonprofit, and market sectors. From this perspective, public managers may better recognize the strategic roles and choices available to them in network management. Undeniably, networking is an ideal technique and a skill that we should all embrace as we move forward to a more sustainable and future-proof institutions. Let us think that networking as a driving force to open more opportunities for professional growth and development among our faculty, and of course, mobilize our students to interact across borders. To this end, may we all again, to this end rather, may we all gain new learning and insights out from the relevant topics and use it in establishing our professional networks. To everyone, good luck and God bless.
Let us give our university president our loudest virtual applause, please. Thank you so much, Dr. Canyeso, for that very inspiring message. We are now about to start the seminar proper. If you have questions and clarifications, please submit them through the chat box and through the comment section of our FB Live, as we will be summarizing them in preparation for the open forum later on. Also, in asking questions, please indicate your name first and your question. If ever there are clarifications, that's the time that we will ask you to unmute and talk. Then if you want to speak up, please press the hands up button so we could recognize you. And now to formally introduce our speaker, let me call on one of the students of the DN613 class, Miss Jennifer Cacho.
My respect and morning greetings to our school officials, administrators, faculty, and staff. Likewise to our subject facilitators, classmates, and visitors to this very significant activity. It's a great honor for me to introduce our guest speaker today, who is an epitome of success. Our speaker is the Director of International Student and Scholar Services, and also the Director of Immigration and Integration Services in the University of Pennsylvania.
Ma'am Jen. So again, while we are waiting for Ma'am Jen to be able to get connected back to our Zoom, let me remind everyone again to please register through our Google Docs and please rename your username so we could monitor your attendance. Also, at the end of this seminar, we are going to have the evaluation forms or evaluation, and then we will be posting via chat box the link. You are also required to accomplish the forms, the evaluation forms, as it is a requirement for your certificates.
Ma'am Maureen?
Yes, ma'am. You're there. Okay.
I'll continue. Okay, so our speaker has a doctoral degree in international resource development with a major in cross-cultural communication. He has held regional and national leadership position in NAFSA, the Association for International Educators. He was an elected national representative for the Council of Foreign Student Advisors, section of NAFSA, and then was elected as national chair of KCISSS, or the Knowledge Community for International Students and Scholars. He has presented and conducted more than 300 immigration, cross-cultural communication, and conflict resolution workshops nationally and internationally. Our speaker is coordinating Penn's International Student Advisory Board and International Partners Outreach Group. He conceptualized and spearheaded Penn's Intercultural Leadership Program. He has developed creative and diverse and innovative programs to advocate for international education and intercultural learning. He enjoys traveling to different cultures because of the colorful educational experience that he gains from these journeys. His quest for learning has taken him to beautiful places in Europe, Asia, and the Americas. He cherishes meeting students and scholars from all corners of the world because of the cross-cultural learning opportunities that are within his grasp. He is greatly fascinated with learning the cultures and languages of the world. He continuously strives to find ways to partner with members and key stakeholders from the campus
Ma'am Jen. We are sorry for this technical problem due to the intermittent signal of Ms. Jennifer Gacho. So again, please register through Google Docs. And if you have questions in the seminar, please post them in the chat box as we will be reading your questions one by one. And we will just call you when we have clarifications of your questions. We would also like to encourage the participants to make and formulate their questions, as our speaker is very dynamic and he is very open to answer all our questions.
Let me continue. Okay, our speaker is coordinating with PEN's International Student Advisory Board and International Partners Outreach Group. He conceptualized and spearheaded PEN's intercultural leadership program. He has developed creative endeavors and innovative programs to advocate the international education and intercultural learning. He enjoys traveling to different cultures because of the colorful educational experience that he gained from these journeys. His quest for learning has taken him to beautiful places in Europe, Asia, and America. He cherishes meeting students and scholars from all corners of the world because of the cross-cultural learning opportunities that are within his grasp. He is greatly fascinated with learning with the cultures and languages of the world. He continuously strives to find ways to partner with members and key stakeholders of the campus and Philadelphia community to advocate PEN's global engagement efforts. Today, our speaker will talk to us about diversity and inclusivity in networking, a global perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you. Let us all welcome our kababayan, the water than Dr. Rodolfo R. Altamirano. Good day, sir.
Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. I am very honored, President Cañezo and the University Administrators of BiPSU. It is an honor to be invited today. I was informed about this via Judel, and Ralph talked to me 2 days ago, and I'm very fascinated and excited to address the BiPSU community. I have not been home for a while now because of COVID, but I think this is an opportunity to connect to my motherland and connect with my people from my country of birth. So with this, I really would like to thank President Cañezo for the opportunity to be able to address your community and the university community. It's very, very, engaging and very exciting to engage and having a dialogue and conversations about networking. One thing with me is networking is part of the game and it's part of the community and it's part of our work. But at the same time, I would like to delve into what networking is in the real academic perspective, of course, and beyond academic. So I would like to thank Ralph for assisting me in my slides here. So Ralph, thank you in advance. One thing with my style when I teach here at Penn is I use a very Socrates pedagogical approach. So I might give you, I might call on you once in a while to ask how you guys are doing, or maybe engage with me. So if you are not shy, please turn on your cameras and engage with me, and I'll be more than glad to ask questions or to see or to assess how you're doing. Okay. So again, my topic that was given to me was diversity and inclusivity in networking, a global perspective. But I realized when I was doing this in the last 2 days is that global is not enough. You have to act local and think global. I'm sure you have heard of this adage before. Act local, think global is very, very important. Unless you have a very local perspective, you will not be able to achieve the global perspective. And so for me, I want to emphasize that. As a Filipino, traveled to the United States in 1983. I carried myself a lot of local and cultural aspects of me that were very imperative in making sure that I adjust well to the global community in the universities in the United States. So with that, diversity and inclusivity is a very, very broad topic. And so when Ralph talked to me and some of the students last Thursday, I said, wow, this is a very broad topic. This is a very tough job, but I'll try my best to cover what is being asked of me today or tonight or this morning in Biliran. So if we can start for the next, let's go to the first slide, Ralph, if you don't mind. So now before I talk, I would like to ask how's everyone doing? And so my first question is, why is networking relevant? So put your responses on the chat or comment section. Then I can ask Maureen or Ralph to monitor this. Or if you're willing to engage with me, turn on your camera, raise your hand, and let's talk. Why is networking relevant? So Jeremy said it widens our world. That's true. What else? Jeremy, so you're in camera. Can you expound on that? You know, let's talk for a while. What do you mean it widens our world? Go for it.
Sir, sometimes we have a limited perspective, but then when we network, we realize that there's a wider world out there.
So basically, we cannot limit ourselves, right? There's so much in the horizon about networking. Hani said it helps us expand our connections and partners. Thank you, Jeremy. So Hani, why don't you, if you're willing to talk to me, that would be great. Can you expound or elaborate on your response?
Networking actually helps us extend our connections, meet new people, and then helps us get more partners in our specific fields.
Okay, so the key word, Honey, is expansion, correct?
Yes, sir.
So I have two more, maybe I'll talk to two more. One of them is, who's the first one? Estelito is building collaboration. You want to expound on that, Estelito?
Yes, sir. Through networking, it's very, very relevant because it builds a good collaboration, meaning to say you will learn something from the other side, and that person from the other side also will learn something from you, and it would foster development on both sides. That's what I mean with collaboration.
That's very good, Estelito. I think it's, mutual collaborative learning, right? Collaborative learning are the key words here. And finally, we have Vincent Lee Garcia, networking. Vincent, why don't you read it for me? What can you expound on what you said?
Okay, sir. Networking is a means to collaborate with others because more heads are better than one, especially in addressing problems of worldwide scope.
I agree. Two heads are better than one. That has been very true. No man is an island, right? That is, or no woman is an island. No one is an island. So we really have to work and collaborate. We cannot do this alone. Okay, Ralph, do you mind moving to the next slide? Next question. What are the elements of diversity and inclusivity important in networking? I just want to get your perspective and set the stage so that we are on the same page here. So why are the elements of diversity and inclusivity important in networking? You can raise your hand if you want to talk this time, if you don't mind, that would be great. Why are the elements of diversity and inclusivity important in networking? I know it's important, but why is it important? Why are those important, those elements? Anyone? Those two elements, I think, yeah, who's this? Mr. Boone, go for it. You said rules the connection process. Why don't you tell me what it means?
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes,
What's your,
yes po.
are you Ed? Your name is Ed, right? Ed?
No, that is my program.
Oh, your
Doctor
program,
of
EPD.
Education.
Okay,
Yes,
EPD.
yes, sir.
So what is your first name? Boone? Boone?
Yes po, Boon.
Okay, Boone. Okay, go for it, Boone.
So as you can see, it is the ruling when it comes to connection. As you can see, if you are going to observe even in nature, even in the human analogy, these are the principles that you can see. And if you are going to master this, you are able to dominate in networking, because there are principles that you need to adapt, the person or the specimen need to adapt to some kind of new environment. And of course, inclusivity, that is if you're going to look in a general perspective, you will see that this inclusivity is needed in order to gain the loyalty, or to gain the quality, and more of it. I cannot expound it very much because it will take time. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Boone. Thank you. I think what you're saying is adaptability. I think you mentioned the word adaptability, and that is a very important element. For you, if you're not adaptable, if you're not able to adapt in an environment, you'll not be able to facilitate that conversation, right? Thank you, Boone. Jocelyn said, Jocelyn, why don't you, if you don't mind, if you're comfortable, turn on your camera and chat with me. You said networking makes possible the delivery of education despite the pandemic, which is true. Are you answering the question of why are diversity and inclusivity important also, despite the pandemic? So why is that? Let's dig deeper into that, right? During the pandemic, we were halted, right? We are using the Zoom platform to meet. And why do you think it's important to still embed the elements of diversity and inclusivity in a Zoom environment, for example? Because Zoom environment is a platform for networking. Why do you think those are very important to still consider? Very good, Rodel. Very good. Sense of belongingness. I think that's very important. That's one of the aspects of the DEIB. In the United States, where I came from, the DEIB is diversity, equity, inclusivity, and sense of belongingness, which is very, very important. Ryan raised his hand. Ryan, go for it. Ryan.
Good morning, Sir Rodolfo. Pardon me if I'm not going to turn my camera on so as not to hamper my connectivity, but
no problem.
Thank you. As for me, we really need to understand the elements of diversity and inclusivity, foremost because networking deals with people. And as we deal with them, it's better for us to understand them more, because for us also to establish and to strengthen ties and better connections. And that's again for better understanding.
Thank you. Yeah, networking is humans, right? We are dealing with individuals. We're dealing with a group of individuals. And it's important for us to be cognizant of the presence of diverse perspectives. And let's end with, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll move on, since now I got a landscape perspective here. Jeremy, why don't we end with your statement here? Our difference makes our diversity rich and beautiful, and inclusivity gives importance to each and every one. How do you tie those beautiful words, Jeremy, to networking?
Sir, we know that everyone is different and that everyone is important. I could cite a very beautiful example of piano. They have different keys, the lower tunes, the higher tunes, but if you play them all, if you include them all, you can create a beautiful song, a beautiful music. And that's, I think, a summary of diversity and inclusivity.
Beautiful metaphor, Jeremy. That's a beautiful metaphor. Like they're very diverse. Those keys are so different, right? But individually, it sounds very different. But when you play them together, it can play a sonata or Mozart or Beethoven. So beautiful to the ear, same as networking. If there's harmony, if you're able to harmonize and be able to facilitate a very smooth dialogue of conversations in the networking world, that will create beautiful music. Thank you again for your participation. We will talk to you again. I will make sure that we will save time for question and answer or dialogue because this has been requested. Thank you so much. Okay, Ralph, if you don't mind, let's go to the next slide, please. Let me do an agenda for today, for this morning. It's evening here in Philadelphia, so bear with me if you can, sometimes you will hear some noises also from my part here, the dogs, neighbors here. But what I will cover for this webinar, number one, I'll talk about my personal philosophy in networking. Number two, the essence of diversity and inclusivity in networking. And number three, for me, this is very important. Every time I do a talk or every time I do a webinar or an in-person workshop, I invite the clientele or the people who invited me. And last Thursday, I was very, very honored to be able to interact with maybe 7 people from BiPSU and ask, what do you want? What do you expect? What are your questions that you want me to cover? So voices from Biliran Province State University, they mentioned 3 things here. One is, how do you establish international linkages, Dr. Altamirano? One question again is, how to create connections with DIPs, with important people? And another one that was asked is, how do you embed DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusivity in the organization like BiPSU? So those 3 I will tackle today. I'll try my best. Those are very eclectic topics, but I'll do my best to cover them. So bear with me because I'm covering a very broad, the depth and breadth of this conversation is very big today, but I'll try my best to cover every single thing here. Next, please. So the first question I will ask myself is, how do I view networking? I always believe that networking is divided into 2. There's the social networks and my professional networks. Am I involved in those? Very much involved. However, I always believe that sometimes we have, and I tell this to my daughters, that we have to put balance in the use, especially of social networks, especially social media. You need to have balance. Is it very beneficial? Does it have a lot of benefits and advantages? Yes, definitely, especially social networking. Professional network is very important for me because that builds my career, but it's important for me as I mentor people, as I build my career path, and I help people in their the professional enhancement. So in the middle of this Venn diagram is what I see are the important qualities of being a networker, okay? For me, this is how I view networking. As a networker, whether you're a social networker or a professional networker, you have to be very intentional. You need to know, why are you networking? Why are you involved in that Facebook or that Instagram or that LinkedIn for the social? Or why are you doing TikTok or YouTube blogs, for example? Or why are you doing discussion forums? What is your purpose in that? That is very, very important. And the professional also, professional networks, what is your vision? What is your professional and personal vision for yourself? Is it only enhancement, your own professional enhancement? Or are you also working on the enhancement of people who's working with you or colleagues in the network? Number 1, that is very important. Number 2 is you have to be very sincere. Authenticity and transparency are very important elements of networking. For me, I don't take networking lightly because I'm putting myself on the line. That's my reputation at stake. So I have to be very clear about my sincerity. And that can be reflected on the comments, on what you post, on what you say, how you behave, what you say in meetings like Zoom. This is a networking event today. Am I not working today? Yes, I am not working because I am working with another organization across thousands of miles across the Pacific Ocean. So I'm not working. But why am I doing this? And the purpose for tonight, why did I say yes to this? Because I believe in making sure that I'm imparting some knowledge and some perspectives, but at the same time, learning from the other side of the fence. It's not the two-way process here. Number 3, am I trustworthy? Am I reliable? Am I dependable? If I say I will do it, will I do it? If I say I will deliver it, will I deliver it? If I say this or that, is that true? Or is that fake news? That is very important. I'm very careful in posting because if there's fake news that is posted in my network sites, that is not good reputation-wise, but it's also, I'm also impacting lives of young people and impacting lives of colleagues and even my families and friends. Number 3, very important for me. As an intercultural communicator, I believe in being respectful in networks. Respect is very important. I think that's a behavioral decorum. Now, no matter what, whether face-to-face or in person or virtual platforms, you have to have a sense of respect to people. Number 5, positivity. You have to be positive. This is an opportunity for you to demonstrate a positive spirit. In the pandemic era, this has been very challenging for all of us. It has stopped us from communicating. It has halted a lot of face-to-face interaction. The best thing we can do is project a positive spirit, a positive enthusiasm out there. And the last one is focusing on you, not I. I think people, and I know this, not everyone, network because of course we want to build a resume, we want to make sure that we get what we want to have our goals met. However, I think we will go a long way if we are focusing on how will I be able to help or mentor or engage the person or groups or individuals networking with me. How will this benefit not just me? How will this benefit you, the 100 people and the 7 people in Facebook Live? How will this be a worthwhile morning for every one of you? That's how do I view networking. Next slide, please, Ralph. Another Venn diagram. I love Venn diagrams. Geometry was not my favorite subject, but I love Venn diagrams when it comes to this presentation. So for me, individual, local, and global, I think it's important. These 3 aspects. You gave me the topic on global perspectives. I believe that there are 3 areas: individual, local, and global. And one thing about that, I think like that. Of course, I have to have my personal vision, my vision statement for myself. But I also have to think, who are the people in my local realm, right? And number 3, I have to think global. That's why I add think global here. But in the middle, the intersecting part of the middle here is DEI. I always embed that in the thinking. A mindset that includes diversity, equity, and inclusivity. That has become the common theme, whether it's individual, local, or global networks. Next slide, please. Again, going back to the mindset, this is another way of looking at it. What are the elements involved in networking? Always, aside from the local, individual, and global, it's important to have a diverse, inclusive, and global. As you can see here, I put quote and unquote under global because global is not necessarily transnational. We can be global within our own BiPSU community. You know, you have to capitalize on the human potential that you have in BiPSU. You have a very global, you're reeking with global talent. And you have to always think of that. Diverse, is your mindset diverse? Is your mindset inclusive? And is your mindset global? Since I've been working in the field for so many years, I have always been thinking of this way. Since I started working in the United States since 1989, diverse, inclusive, and global. Next slide, please. So why DEI in networking? I asked you this question. Why diversity, equity, and inclusivity in networking? And so you gave me your perspectives. Here is my perspective, and based on the literature that we have out there. Number one, we have so many different networks. We're involved in so many different networks. How many of you, if you can, is it more than 5? Is it more than 10 in your hands, in your fingers? We have so many different networks. And so we have to capitalize on diversity and inclusivity. There's so many networks available out there. Number 2, of course, we network, we create network, we form networks because we have a shared goal and a shared experience. But one thing clear, with that shared experience and shared values, we have to be very aware and cognizant that with that, there's diversity. Diversity brings so much richness to the networks that we have out there. And number 3, lack of diversity within the networks will promote inequity and discourage diverse voices. If you don't have diversity in your networks, rest assured, diverse voices will not be there. And that will be a very dull network. It will be unfulfilling. It's a network that will not, it's very stagnant. It's not working. It's not organic, okay? So that's the important thing. Why DEI in networking? Next, please. So let me focus on DEI when it comes to professional networks. We are all aware that under the professional networks, we have colleagues. All of you are in a network. All BiPSU members here, you're part of the network. This is your network. Also in your network, you are also mentors of other people, but you're also mentees of other people. That is part of your network community. I mentor a lot. When I was younger, I was a mentee, but now I have a lot of mentors under me, and that is part of my network. It's not a one-way process. Another one is the casual networks. And you will see, and I'll explain this later, LinkedIn is a casual network. I'm sure a lot of you are part of LinkedIn. I'm part of LinkedIn, and I'll explain why it's a casual network. It's casual network, but it's also part of professional, because this is where you meet all the professional realm, professional circles. And last but not the least is deep networks. This is your professional support. This is your confidants. This is your people that you trust academically, people that you trust in research, professorials, people that you trust when it comes to your own professional growth. Those are your professional networks. Now let's move on to social networks. Next, please. But before we do that, here are the key points when it comes to professional networks. You have to remember that within the professional networks, you cannot underestimate your sphere of influence on your professional network. You control who should be in your professional network. You can expand it, you can delete it, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. You are in control. It's in your hands. You have a sense of ownership when it comes to your network. Number 2, you have to be aware of the breadth and depth of your professional network. And you might think this is out of the box thinking. Mentors and mentees, but also who do you eat with lunch? If before the pandemic, do you remember, for example, in my office, I eat lunch with a lot of people in my university. And for me, those are my professional networks. Yes, we are in a very informal setting. It's a lunch, but we are developing professional collegiality and conversations that can really make or break the university's vision and goals, right? So who do you eat with lunch? Who do you go out after work? Who do you see during the weekends? Those are your professional networks within your community. And you might think those are social. No, those are professional, especially if these are people who are similar in your professional realms, right? And the last one, for example, is the golf. Who do you play golf? Who are your tennis buddies? You know, who do you play Mobile Legends with? Who, you know, these are your professional networks also. So don't underestimate those because you're creating connections. And lastly, who do you go for advice? Advice for your careers, advice for your work, advice for a strategic planning perspective. Those are your networks. And another key point is the importance of intentionality. I talk about intentionality in the beginning of my talk. You have to be intentional with regard to the diversity of your professional network because that will result in tremendous benefits. Are you looking at is your network very homogeneous? Is it very similar? You are able to do that, for example, in LinkedIn. You can go to your My Network and look, are these the same people that you are following in LinkedIn? Maybe it's time to look at expanding them. If you look at my LinkedIn, it's not just about my profession. It's people that I work with from different parts of the world. And it's not necessarily the same professional field. I have artists, I have athletes, I have movie stars, I have presidents and vice presidents of companies and universities. I have students. Those are my networks. I have people LinkedIn from Kenya, from Nigeria, from France, from Germany, from Japan, from Korea, of course, from the Philippines. That is my network. And look at it. Look how diverse your network is. Next, please. When you focus on DI social networks, this is the big one because this is the one that we cannot control much. It's the social networks. So social media, example is Facebook, Twitter. The media sharing is YouTube, Instagram, the discussion forums like Reddit, and of course, the interest base, which is Crossroads. These are very important. It's important for our profession. It's important for our lives. But as I've said earlier, you have to be very careful on what you post, what you say, and how you express your opinions on these networks. These are very important for us. But at the same time, aside from you providing and giving those information, you have to also be aware, be self-aware of what you're reading in those networks, what you're hearing, what you're listening to, and what you are interested in engaging in. Expand your horizon. Are you looking at the same people in your Facebook or Instagram? Are you looking at the same posting in LinkedIn? Or are you willing to go beyond that? For me, it's like reading a newspaper in the morning. I'm not just reading the headline news. I'm reading the feature articles, the entertainment, the sports, the comics, everything, because I want to be expanded. I want my insights to be stimulated. That is how I focus on social networks. Diversified. It's very important to have diverse connections and perspectives because that will pay off in the long run. Next, please, Ralph. So the key points for social networks is this. Number one, it will influence your way of thinking, which also enhance your professional growth. Of course, you have to be selective in reading and what you're looking at, but that will definitely influence your thinking. Number two, there are advantages of following and connecting people that hold different identities and viewpoints. Sometimes it's very hard to take that face value. There are a lot of postings sometimes in Instagram and Facebook, or mostly in Facebook, sometimes in Twitter, that I don't agree with politically, or that I don't agree with philosophically. But for me, I still read them. And I go beyond the box. What is this person telling me? Why is this person saying this? Because I want, instead of shutting that person off and turning off and then following that person, I want to know more about the perspective of that person. What is behind this philosophical statement? And that for me is enriching my perspectives. It's very, very it's a stimulating experience for me, learning experience. And number 3 is, if you listen to diverse social network views, it will fuel more exciting, cutting edge ideas. And of course, the most important thing is social connections that you have, because you're engaging actively and proactively. That can often lead to professional connections. So social network, as I've said, can lead to professional connection. But again, I just want to repeat, be careful, because if you don't manage it well, your social network, that can also close doors for you for professional connections. No one will be engaging with you if you manage it in the wrong way. Okay, next, please. Ralph, next, please. Oops, Willis Ralph. Next, please. Is Ralph here with me? Do you want me to share, Ralph? Maybe I can share, Ralph? Hello? Jeremy, can you hear me? And did
Yes,
I lose
sir.
connection? Yeah,
Yes,
so
sir,
we
I can
lost
hear you
Ralph.
clear.
We lost Ralph. Let me
Yes.
share. Maybe it will, because maybe we lost Ralph. I will share my screen and see if that will work, okay? So that I can continue with this. Okay, so the benefits of networking is learning. That's the biggest benefit. Because through networking, there's a lot of knowledge that is gathered. There's a lot of strategic, critical thinking. You become so creative because you're hearing different perspectives. And then you become motivated. Because when you're creative, you become motivated. And when you're motivated, there's a lot of potential in you, leadership potential, right? So for me, those are the elements that can promote, when you promote DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusivity. So I would like to share Simon Sinek. I don't know whether you know Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek is a very famous British American motivational speaker. And so what he said was, each of us has blinders. And I agree with this. All of us have blinders. We can only see things from our own perspective. Do I have blinders? Yes, I have blinders. But when we come together, which is a network with a common cause or a shared vision, like BiPSU, I was impressed with the wow, that wow, a tagline of BiPSU. That's very impressive. What a brand, what a tag name. And for me, that's a shared vision. Our view broadens, and we can see and recognize things that we never could have seen on our own. That's why the best companies are diverse, and they have diverse thinking. And I applaud BiPSU for having this conversation about diversity and inclusivity. Because as a university, you are bringing diverse perspectives and diverse thinking, and that will make BiPSU, and of course, if BiPSU is already a great university, that will sustain your reputation as an amazing reputation as a great university. So that's what I'm talking about being able to talk about the importance of diversity and inclusivity. So now let me talk about the voices of BiPSU stakeholders, okay? The first question they asked me is, how do we incorporate the elements of diversity and inclusion in our offices and organization? That was the first question thrown at me. And what I said is there are 4 stages here, okay? Oops. Sorry, what's happening here? Sorry. 4 stages. One is, first of all, as an individual. Okay, there are 2 layers. As an individual, you as individual member of BiPSU, you are as an individual member of your professional organization, or if you're a working student and you're working in another office aside from BiPSU, for example, you have to assess your network and understand your potential biases. What are your biases? What makes you, give you a blinder that's hard for you to move on, hard for you to listen, hard for you to understand another perspective? Do you have a gender bias? Do you have a racial bias? Do you have a sexual orientation bias? A religious bias? What are your biases? Because if you have biases like that, that will prevent you from expanding your network. Number 2, thinking creatively about expanding your network. You have to be creative. How do you expand your network? You can do that in LinkedIn. You can do that in every single thing, but you have to be intentional. If you think you have biases, you can mitigate those biases by expanding your network and interact with people that will provide an enlightenment to your biases. Number 3 is leverage social media, right? It's important for you to leverage your social media. Social media, it can be an asset, but it's also a disadvantage, right? It's a disadvantage also. But leverage, how do you use it effectively, right? How do you use your social media effectively? Are you using it right? Do you have a balance? Are you so engrossed with Facebook that you are just using it without any intentionality? And number 4, don't ignore the benefits of face-to-face networking. I know I am very aware of the challenges of COVID-19. I'm very aware of that. However, if you have the chance, face-to-face is always very, very important. Nothing can replace face-to-face. Of course, you have to maintain social distancing. I know the GCQ and the ECQ in the Philippines, it can be very challenging. In the United States too, but here in the United States, I try my best to have lunches. I try to have my best to have dinners, of course, in a very social distance fashion. Nothing can replace face-to-face because they can see your authenticity, they can see your intent, your sincerity. So that is as an individual. Next one, of course, is as an organization, right? As an organization, you have to, number 1, so let's assume it's BiPSU we're talking about here, and it can apply to any. Support the diversity and inclusion agenda. I applaud BiPSU for having 2 wonderful offices sponsoring today. The GAD, Gender and Development, and the Office of International Affairs. I think that is wonderful. That you can be applauded for that. But continue to sustain and support the diversity and inclusion agenda. That should be embedded in the mission statement of the university, not a hidden part of the university's mission statement. Number 2, increase members' input through targeted representation. Make sure that are your voices heard? Do we know, are everyone represented in this? Who are represented in the table? Who are sitting on the table for decision making, for example? Number 3, increase knowledge through targeted consultation. Be proactive in your consultation. Seek out people that you typically will not seek out. Those people who are typically not part of the table for discussion. Sometimes those people who are not part of the active decision-making process in the organization. Seek them out and you will be surprised. They have so many fascinating stories to share. Number 4, create opportunities for further networking. And for me, you can do this creatively. I know Zoom is very, very stagnant. It's like I'm talking on a screen here, but I made the most out of this by engaging with people. I can see Jeremy's face, for example, right now. And I want to engage with Jeremy, even though we are divided by a firewall here. You have to be engaged. Know people. And number 5, allow rooms for centered spaces and employee resource groups. There should be what we call inclusive network in every organization that will provide spaces for those who are normally not heard. In my office, I do a lot of centered spaces. Those who feel unheard, those who feel that that people are not looking at them. During the pandemic, what I did is I did wellness checks every 3 months. And I did it via Zoom and see, how are you doing? Individually. I call them individually and ask how they're doing. Because you're providing a safe space for them to be able to articulate what they want to say. So that for me are the 2 perspectives. How do you embed the DI in an organization? The next question that was thrown at me last Thursday is, how do we create network connections with DIPs, where government officials, organization leaders, and high-profile administrators? Those are they easy to do? How do we reach out to those people? I know this is very difficult. And as an international student, when I came to the United States, that was very difficult for me. But if I can share something, these are the 5 things that I can share. Number 1, you have to build reputation in order to do number 1. Build your profile. But at the same time, build your connections. Before you engage with something or with someone who has a high profile position, for example, come recommended by a respected figure in your industry or in your profession. I know that will work. Ralph, can you introduce me to Jeremy? I know your friends. I know your compadres, compare. Can you introduce me to him? I know you work, you're both in high positions. Do you mind if you introduce me to Mr. Balondo? And so Ralph said, okay, I'll give him a call. Number 2, identify and play up the similarities. Jeremy, I'm sorry, I'm using you as an example because you're the only one I can see on the screen. So you will be a token of my conversation here. But for example, I have to, what I will look at Google, search about Jeremy. What is similar to me and Jeremy? So that when I meet with Jeremy, I can talk to him about it. So Jeremy, what do you like, for example? Let's just assume. What do you like? What do you enjoy doing?
I love plants. I love plants, gardening.
So I'm not good in gardening, so I cannot talk about that. If you ask me, then I will not be so good. I don't like, plants don't stay and survive in my, what else do you like?
Motorcycle.
Oh, I don't even know how to ride motorcycle. Oh, what else? Maybe we'll find a commonality here.
Don Quixote. I read.
Oh, from Spain. I love Don Quixote. I love Don Quixote of La Mancha. So we can talk about Don Quixote. Is that Don Quixote from La Mancha?
Yes, sir.
Mancha Villa. So you and I can talk about it. We can talk about Don Quixote for hours and hours. And even though we don't have the similarities of motorcycle, I will research about it and said, Jeremy, I don't know how to, I'm not good in motorbike. Is it similar? How is it easy? How is it similar to biking? I want to learn more about motorcycles. And maybe I can get advice about, can you tell me how to make us plants survive? What kind of plants will survive if I'm not I don't have brain thumb? Number 3 is highlight your unique skills, knowledge, and credentials. Don't go to that meeting unless you highlight your unique skills, why you are someone that he should talk to. What's your knowledge? What are your credentials? Number 4, ask and you shall receive and be persistent. I've learned this the hard way when I came to the United States in 1983. I don't have the money to pay for my PhD. And so I have to really ask to talk to people. And I'm persistent, not annoyingly persistent, but asking, continue to ask, sir, Dr. Balondo, are you able to meet with me? I know you're very busy, but I can wait. And number 5, to build the network, you must first make contact. You don't wait for them to make contact. You make the first contact. So I hope I answered the question. I don't know who asked me this. I think it's Maureen. I forgot, but that's my answer. Number 5 is, how do we establish linkages with global institutions? This is the most, it's very broad. It's very tough. It's very complex. And I know BiPSU has been doing this already, but I will divide it. This is from ACE, Association of the American Council of Education in the United States. Number 1 is transparency and accountability. It's very important under program information management for your university and of course the partner university to be accountable and transparent. You have to really lay out the cards. Program description, memorandum of agreement, memorandum of understanding, lay out what is your vision, what is your goal as an institution, and is it aligned with the other partner university. Number 2 is faculty and staff engagement. Very important to engage your faculty. Faculty should be enthused, to be excited, to be part of a linkage, an institutional linkage. I did at the University of Pennsylvania where we involve faculty. We're now doing 10 global seminars all over the world. And we are, we can see the joy of the faculty. But the sadness was very evident when COVID-19 hit our landscapes. But staff engagement is very important. You have to have someone dedicated to building and establishing linkage networks, someone who is full-time, someone who knows the nuts and bolts of linkages. Number 3 is quality assurance. Of course, with quality assurance, it's important to do preliminary assessments. It's important to look at accreditation. What is the accreditation that's involved? You have to do ongoing review, continual improvement. It's a product and process evaluation and assessment. And 4th in this area is strategic planning and the role of institutional leadership. Here, it's very important to have the overall institutional strategy. So for BiPSU, what is BiPSU's institutional strategy when it comes to global linkages? Number 2, what is BiPSU's internationalization strategy? And I'll talk about comprehensive internationalization later on, but that is very important. What is your global strategy? Number 3, what is the role of institutional leadership? Is the leadership of the university or the organization or the institution, is he or she or they speaking global, institutional, and comprehensive internationalization? Are they willing to focus on that? And number 4, what are the partnership strategies? How are you able to have a very transparent strategic partnership with the institution that you want to partner with? So that's the first part. The second part is cultural and contextual issues, where DEI elements are embedded. Number 1 is cultural awareness, of course. When you're establishing global partnership or institutional linkages, you have to manage cultural differences. For example, if BiPSU is establishing linkages with the University of Maryland, for example, how are you doing that? How are you managing the culture, not necessarily the United States and the Philippines, but also the culture of Maryland, the University of Maryland, and the BiPSU culture? What are the cultures, the pedagogical cultures, of the universities? Another one is language considerations. It's important. I think one thing with us in the Philippines is English is our official language and we're able to navigate all of this. But for some countries to establish linkages, they have to navigate that piece of being able to have translations of all official documents. If, for example, if Japanese or Korean or Chinese, they have to translate that so that the potential partner in the United States will be able to understand what is written within those documents, for example. And also not necessarily in the official documents, but the language of instruction. Do we require students to learn Chinese in order to go to Beijing University? Or do we require the Chinese students to learn English when they fly to the United States to go to our university? And number 3 is learning outcomes. What is your goal? Do you want the student to just learn the subject matter? Or do you want them to learn about critical thinking, to learn about flexibility, to learn about adaptability? Those are the soft skills, but soft skills that really bring them and make them great networkers. And of course, third is the number 2 is access and equity. And this is very important because you're talking about admissions, you're talking about financial aid, Who will get the financial support? Who will be admitted here? Will every student have an access to this experience, or only selected students? Who will have access to resources? If students come to the university, will they have access to everything here? Similar to the BiPSU students, same if they go to the university in another country, will they have access to the library? Will they have access to computers? Will they have access to the sports facilities? And number 3 is equity among partners. That's an important consideration also. What is happening? What is understanding between the two partnering institutions? That has to be very authentic, transparent, and collaborative and accountable. Number 3 is institutional and human capacity building. Under 3, we have the individual capacity building, and I talk about soft skills as well as hard skills, higher education institutions and systems capacity building. What will it bring to the university? When you're engaged in this institutional linkage, what are the benefits for the university? And number 3, community and society. What is the benefit to Biliran, to outside the university? What is the benefit to the cities, to the rural areas, to the community? Are you building capacity there? What are the implications for that? And number 4 is ethical dilemmas and negotiated space, which is very difficult. We're talking about resource imbalances. Again, who gets and who does not get, who gives and does not give. And then academic freedom in the United States, you can, it's an understanding. If I'm teaching a class in the United States, people can argue with me, you head on. It's like a debate, intellectual debate. But are we allowing that in the institution that they're going? Is there academic freedom? And if that is not culturally sensitive, how do we navigate that negotiated space? How do we navigate academic freedom? That was my first cultural shock when I came to the United States as a grad student, when I saw students arguing with the professors and professors being called first names. That was very culturally shocking for me, but I'm used to that now. You can see this in my way, the way I'm teaching. I've been teaching for years, and maybe it's a culture shock, but also I'm trying to understand the culture of my country, right? Not over, don't overdo it, right? And of course, it's very important to know what is allowable and what is respectful. So for me, I just rush into this because I want to just provide a big perspective here. But here is a model of comprehensive internationalization. I think one thing is big in terms of, if you want to establish linkages, it's important to have a comprehensive global strategy, from a very articulated institutional commitment that reflects global strategy, from the administrative leadership, from the structure and staffing. Is it reflected in the curriculum, co-curriculum and learning? Are the faculty also thinking global, not just acting, also thinking local? How about mobility? Are we willing to bring students out there? How many? How much are we ready? And of course, global collaboration and partnership. How willing are we to be able to be open to a very global, diverse, and inclusive partnership? So again, I want to hear that those are the 3 voices from the BiPSU. It's your turn. If you have any questions, I'll be more than glad to cover all the things that I talked about. I know I've covered a lot of bases here, but let me stop sharing so that we can have a more honest conversation here. Oops. There you go. So I'm open to questions. Please turn your camera or put it in the chat, whatever you feel comfortable. Any questions?
We encourage everyone to just unmute and ask questions, since through chat box we don't have any questions, sir. So
Yeah, I'm
you can
excited
raise
to
your hand.
interact and to
You can
engage
raise
with
your
you.
hand and unmute yourself.
Please, I want to hear your voices, not just literal voices, but the voices of BiPSU. I want to learn from you folks.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Boon, how are you? Welcome back.
Yes, I'm fine. Yes. I have no question, but I just would like to express my appreciation about the seminar. It is I think it is helpful for us to be reminded that we should always be looking the other perspective, because it might be that most of us are used and would like to embrace the practices or the philosophies that we are used to, and it is even in the Bible that and even in other intelligent book, wisdom book, that it's saying that you that every person should always look the other perspective. That's all. Thank you, and I just would like to express my appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you, Boon. Thank you, Boon, for your kind comments here. I think you're right. It's thinking outside the box is very important, right? Thinking outside the box. And I think that's one thing about DEI or DI, that if you're willing and you're open and I always tell my colleagues in my office that always imagine the possibilities, right? Willing to take that step. Of course, it should be calculated, right? But be willing to take that step, additional step, and get out of your comfort zone, right? Get out of your comfort zone and listen to a new way of thinking, a new perspective. I think that's very important. Anyone else?
Good morning, Sir Rudy.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
This is Maribel Sipagan from the
Hi, Maribel,
International.
nice meeting you again. Yes, nice talking
Sir,
to you last Thursday. Yes.
Yes, sir. I'm here again. I'd like to actually, this is not a question, but some sort of an encouragement to the BiPSU community, especially the faculty. You have mentioned earlier that we should extend our networks, and that includes cross-border transaction, which also includes faculty and student mobility. My question is, how do we encourage, especially faculty members who are a bit apprehensive and anxious to go abroad, especially now that we are trying to make our internationalization office active, but some faculty members are quite anxious and apprehensive to go abroad, maybe because of many things. So can you please share any encouragement or anything so that these faculty and students will be more motivated and encouraged to engage in this kind of transactions, sir?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have to be honest here. I know I can understand why there is a sense of apprehension, right? There's so many factors that drive apprehension. COVID-19 is one of them. Number two is the fear of the unknown. You know, what about global linkages? Why do I have to be involved when we have our own institutional priorities here, right? But if I have to have a words of encouragement, and if you have the chance, I don't think it should come from the heart. It cannot be forced, right? It cannot be forced. However, this is my area of expertise. This is my area of passion, right? I am very passionate about global education. And I believe that through my travels and for the University of Pennsylvania, when we have faculty who are involved in international linkages or global educational experiences, this faculty have shared with me that this is the best thing that happened in their lives. That no amount of dissertation or no amount of research can surpass the experience that they have going to a Galapagos island, or the experience going to the Serengeti of Tanzania, or the fascinating culture of Kyoto. I think it's important. Get out of that world. Get out. For me, don't limit yourself. Life is too short to limit ourselves. For me, when I was asked by Judel and Ralph to do this, I said, of course, yes. Because I cannot travel. I wish I can go to Biliran. I have not been to your place. I have not seen Leyte. I want to see your place. You know, if there's an opportunity, I will fly there and see your university because I want to be engaged. I want to see what is out there. It will be very different. Expand your horizons. I'm telling you, I can talk to you more offline, but the benefits outweigh the disadvantages. Being a global citizen, we have a very, very global world right now. And a lot of universities are moving towards a global comprehensive internationalization. Penn is not just the only one. I can name a lot of universities. In the Philippines, for example, I encourage you, and I know it's a baby step, but if I were you, I will take that step. Don't force yourself. Don't take giant steps. Maybe travel to a neighboring country. We have our speaker, Dr. Podar from Malaysia. Maybe visit Malaysia. And then maybe you can visit me in Philadelphia, and I'll be to New York and Washington, D.C. You know, have that opportunity and grab that opportunity. Establish those networks. Start building those. Again, act local, think global. That is a very important thing to remember. The world is so small now, and you can do it any other way, whether virtual or physical, hybrid or in person. So, anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you, Sir Rudy, for that very moving. It's also like some sort of a speech, but it's very moving. I hope that the faculty members and students here who have heard that moving statements of Sir Altamirano, I hope that you will be available soon whenever we approach you for international opportunities. This is one once in a lifetime opportunity for to expand your horizon. So please don't be anxious, don't be apprehensive, don't be fearful of the unknown. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that wonderful, inspirational statement.
No problem. Thanks a lot. Yep. Anyone else?
I guess I'm gonna share this takeaways from our Facebook participants, Dr. Altamirano. I guess Mom R. Marilano. Okay, I'll just read her takeaway. Hello, sir. Thank you for the ideas shared. I am guided to come out and seek networking and be able to gather ideas from others and hope to open up and share my limited knowledge. So that was from Mom R. Marilano.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So Ralph, thank you for doing that. Ryan, I think has her.
Yeah, Ryan.
Ryan, go for it.
Thank you, Doc Altamirano, for acknowledging me. Foremost, I would say that I really appreciate the different concepts shared. It's worthwhile. It's remarkable. I just would like to ask some tips on this. Doc Altamirano, networking can be tough even in normal times, but today's world, it adds up a whole new set of challenges. We venture online and virtual networking. So could you please give us some tips, Dr. Altamirano, on how for us here to successfully establish a sound network even at this time of pandemic that we are just using social platforms and others?
Yeah, you're right, Ryan. Unfortunately, the Philippines is still under, I think you're still doing online, correct? You're not doing in person yet? Yeah. So
Yes.
basically for me, I will definitely, again, Ryan, I would encourage you to start with yourself, right? During the pandemic, I will be honest, If not for COVID-19, I will not be able to meet my classmates from kindergarten, from high school, from college, and from my office mates in the Philippines. I started forming Zoom reunions, for example. I started that with my kindergarten classes. I did that with my high school classmates. I did that with my UP classmates, and I did that with my graduate school peers and office mates in the past in the Philippines. I did that. And aside from that, I reach out to my families and friends. So basically, I did not let the pandemic stop me, right? I know it's very frustrating. However, Ryan, if I were you, I will utilize the virtual platform, leverage the social media to network. You can create you don't have to be, you can have 5 people to start with. Create your own niche, create your own purpose, be intentional about it. And Ryan, I will really, really challenge you after this webinar to start doing that. Start building a network that is outside of this world, beyond your classes, beyond your professional networks. Start doing it. Because no matter what, within these social networks or these Zoom communities, for example, when I was able to do that, I was able to connect a friend's friend who needs an internship, and he happens to work in a law firm. And because of this connection, the opportunities are limitless. There's so many opportunities for connections. So Ryan, don't be discouraged. Start doing that. If you look at my social media, you will see a lot of virtual reunions. And people said, wow, this guy never stopped. And if not for COVID-19, I have never talked to my classmates in kindergarten since 50 years ago. And I was able to see them because of this. And so just put yourself, take that risk. Start doing it. Especially now in the Philippines, you still have the pandemic. And I know face-to-face is still a challenge. And if you can do a face-to-face in a social distance environment, you can try it. Start with BiPSU also, and maybe create special interest groups in BiPSU. Special interest group that has not been identified yet. That is my recommendation, my humble recommendation.
Thank you, Doc, for that
No problem.
enlightenment.
Sure. Jeff, is it Jeffrey or Jeff?
Good morning, Doc. I'd like to ask a question, Doc. Since we are talking about connections, about networking, what would you say is the most difficult part of implementing a DEI structure, DEI program? So since we are talking about diversity, equity, and inclusivity, or what would you say is the most difficult part in implementing a DEI?
Very good question, Jeff. Very good question. I think for me, the most challenging part in embedding a DEI or a DI program is the lack of support institutionally. For me in the United States, because of Black Lives Matter and the anti-Asian American sentiment brought about by COVID, universities started riding the bandwagon. A lot of universities really started doing a lot of diversity and inclusivity initiative. However, as I've shared with my colleagues in my university, I said, it is important for us to be self-aware. Again, why are we doing this DEI? Why are we embarking on a DEI agenda in our university? I think we should ask ourselves, what is the purpose? And number 2, I said, if we are really intent and sincere about this, my only request, because we are in it's an Ivy League community. My request is let's get out of the cerebral framework. Because when you're talking about DEI, you're talking about the heart and soul of human beings. You're not talking about cerebral. All these words of microaggression and social justice. Yes, they're very good. Yes, they're bounded and founded in research. But when you're talking about DEI, it's important to have a sincere approach, and focus on the real emotions of human beings. And unless people are sincere about it, unless the institution is really intent and very sincere about it and is willing not to collect, to have those DEI documents collecting cobwebs in a bookshelf, I don't think it will go far. It has to be there should be buy-in from the top, and buy-in not just on the top, but until the bottom. It has to be a very sincere buy-in. It should be a welcoming embrace. And it should not be so cerebral, not so academic, but very sincere and deep. Be willing that you are very, very sincere about this. Because if people think that you're not sincere, there's no trustworthiness. They will not trust you. So sincerity is very important. You have to do it. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Don't add a diversity and inclusion agenda in an institution if you're not willing to run with it. If it will only be it's like a trend. I think it's important for you to just do it if the university embrace it and you believe in it wholeheartedly.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Anyone else? Ralph?
Right, so thank you, Sir Jeff. Do we still have questions to our speaker or takeaways before we end our first session with Dr. Altamirano? Indeed, we learned a lot. Actually, the topic that we gave to Sir Altamirano is diversity and inclusivity, but he was able to include equity. I forgot. So thank you, Sir DI. So always remember that one, diversity, equity, and inclusivity when we do networking. And always remember those tips being provided to us by Dr. Altamirano. So I guess the takeaway that the major takeaway that I got out of the topic from Dr. Altamirano is we have to go out from our comfort zone. Regardless if we are introvert or extrovert, we need to network. As what Sir earlier said, no man is an island. So we need to socialize. We need to establish our network, professional network. But of course, let us also be, reminded of those, attitudes or let's say values we have to consider when we do networking. Those sincerity, the respect. So if you bear it in your minds and put it in our hearts, I guess we can establish a very fruitful, very good network, professional network. And let's not also limit our idea of network towards professionals. As what Sir Altamirano said, even your peers, the one your friends, the one that you sat in during lunchtime, those are your networks. So always remember that any people that you met are considered your network. Do you still have questions, Sir Jeff? You're still raising your hand.
Jeffrey, you have a question still?
Nothing, sir.
All right. So, Ma'am Maureen, do we still have questions in our chat box or FB Live?
Hi, Sir Ralph.
Yes, Sir Jeremy.
I just would like to take this opportunity, sir, to take share a line from a song. I don't know if you, sir, are familiar with this one. That people who need people are the luckiest people in the world.
Yeah, I like singing that song.
Do you know the tune, sir?
Yeah, I know that song, but I don't want to embarrass everyone, and then I will not have a good network tonight. But I always sing that in karaoke. Yeah, Yes, but do you want to sing it, Jeremy?
I don't. People who needs people are the luckiest people in the world.
Yes. Because we are not here alone, right? We need our colleagues, we need our friends, we need our peers, and beyond that, we need the global community to support us. Don't underestimate. This experience has added richness to my network. I work with Ralph. I want to commend Ralph for his patience and humility the last 2 days. but he has seen me work, you know, when I was given this task, when I was invited to do this, I take this very seriously. So I keep on calling, you know, contacting Ralph, and, you know, I said, Ralph, what is the best way to connect with you? I want to make sure that I show up on time, and I want to make sure that my PowerPoint works. And I always check on him. He's very, very, very responsive. And you are very fortunate, folks, to have Ralph Arsenal in your university. Amazing, amazing part of BiPSU. And I met a lot of people also last Thursday, and I was very impressed with BiPSU colleagues. President Cañezo, you should be proud of your team. You have a very impressive array, and your students. I'm really honored I was really honored to be able to engage with them today. And they were not shy in turning on their cameras and even seeing people who needs people. I think that's part of taking a risk, thinking outside the box, right? You don't know what's happening. You know, you don't know that no matter what, if you're shopping or you're just riding the jeepney, you're already creating networks. Don't underestimate your network potential. So Ralph, before we end, I just want to take this opportunity to thank President Cañezo and the university administrators and all of you for giving me this opportunity. Say hi to Jadel. I don't know whether Jadel was part of this, but Jadel Peñaranda attended my talk with the Fulbright, called the Fulbright in Washington, D.C. That's where I met Jadel 3 years ago before COVID. And so I am on behalf of my university, but of course, I just want to thank you all for this opportunity. I don't want to take a lot of your time because we have another speaker, and I think I have to excuse myself because it's already almost 11 o'clock here in the United States. Unless you really want me to stay, I'll be more than glad, but I didn't sleep. I have to work on this PowerPoint. I was only given 2 days to do this, but I'm so excited to do this PowerPoint. But thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity and to be able to engage. Please do not hesitate. If you want network, to be honest with you, even though networking is not my cup of tea, I don't turn speaking engagement down. That's one advice, because you will learn more by creating a presentation and networking. This is not my expertise. However, I realized, wow, I do a lot of networking in University of Pennsylvania, and I just use my life experiences to build this presentation. But for me, if you don't hesitate, do not hesitate to invite me. Do not hesitate to let me know if you're visiting the University of Pennsylvania. And Dr. Podar, thank you so much for giving me a lot of your time. I'm sorry that I took a lot of your time, Dr. Podar, but I wish we will keep in touch. I agree. That's part of networking too. Dr. Podar, I will be more than glad to engage with you in another time, okay? So with that, I have to excuse myself. And thank you very much. Have a wonderful, how do you say in Waray, good morning, maayong, how do you say it? Let me say it.
Maayong buntag.
Maayong buntag. Buntag, maayong buntag.
Maupay nga aga.
Maupay nga aga in Waray.
Ating umaga. Well, magandang umaga. I am very, very honored. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity. So unless you have questions, I will sign off.
Sir, thank you so much. Don't sign off yet, sir, please. And we would like to thank everyone also for the very, very nice and lively discussion, sir. A virtual applause, please, for Dr. Altamirano. So, in as much as we want to listen and talk more, sir, we don't have enough time. And we are happy to have that connection with you. We will be very willing to go to the University of Pennsylvania if you have chance.
Yes, you're welcome to my, we'll have some adobo in my home. Adobo,
Wow,
I cook adobo and sinigang and nilaga. If you look at my Instagram, it's all cooking. I become a great cook in my Instagram during the pandemic. I learned all of this cooking. So that's what you can see. That's part of networking. A lot of people are wondering, are you establishing a restaurant after this? Another part of networking, right? So what I can do now is maybe stay for a few minutes because I want to hear Dr. Podar also and hear a few minutes of his talk so that at least I can give him some opportunity to be able to get some perspective. So I'll stay for a while, a little bit. And then if you don't mind, if I turn off my camera, at least I said good night already, but I will stay for a while here a little bit.
Yes, sir. So don't turn off your camera yet, sir, as we're going to give you the certificate of recognition first.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so let me present the certificate of recognition with the following citations. Biliran Province State University, School of Graduate Studies in cooperation with Gender Development Office and International Affairs Office, present this certificate of recognition to Dr. Rodolfo Altamirano for sharing his invaluable time and expertise as resource speaker during the international webinar on networking management strategies on September 26, 2021, online via Zoom and FB Live. Signed this 26th day of September 2021 at Biliran Province State University, Naval, Biliran, Philippines. Signed, Victor C. Caniezo, University President.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this recognition. I'm deeply humbled. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir, and thank you. We will be sending you a copy through email and probably through courier. Right now, sir, we would like to request for photo ops.
Sure.
So may we request everyone to please open your cameras and smile. Smile for a little longer because there are many of us, so we have to take a lot of shots. So smile, please. Keep on smiling.
Sir Sal, can you stop share first so that we could have a gallery photo?
So, for a while, okay. So, please smile because we will have that as a proof of your attendance. So, I guess we're done taking pictures. You can keep your video on. So again, Dr. Altamirano, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful. I'll stay for a while. I'll listen to the next speaker for a while, and then I'll just gently sign off. Okay. But thank you for the opportunity.
We appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
So now we are going to start with our second and final topic of this seminar. And again, we would like to remind everyone to also please post your questions via Facebook, comments, and again in our chat box. And also just raise your hands, and we are happy because our participants this morning are very interactive. And now to introduce our next speaker, let me call again Sir Ralph Avic to introduce our next speaker.
Thank you, Mom Maureen. And so that was really indeed a fruitful, interactive discussion earlier in the first session with Dr. Altamirano. So let's proceed now to another, discussion. So this time, allow me to introduce another significant and highly commendable resource person in this humble undertaking. He's a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Zoology at the University of Kolkata, India in 1993 with a diploma in dietetics in 1995. He also had a master's degree in science in zoology, biochemical genetics at Dayalba Educational Institute, Agra, India in 1998, and with a PhD in zoology at the University of Kolkata in India in 2004. The title of his thesis is Comparison of Cytotoxic Effects of Iron with other Group 8 metals and Protection Against Effects of Iron Overload by Dietary Intervention. And this year, he took his Master of Business Administration at Lincoln University College in Malaysia. He is a teacher, a researcher, and an innovator who has published more than 90 researches and articles and received the award as Best Research Advisor by Indian Academic Research Association in 2019, an organizer of international conferences and seminars. Presently, he is the Deputy Vice Chancellor in Research and Innovation at Lincoln University College in Malaysia, also sitting as an executive editor in Lincoln University College, the publications, member of the Board of Studies in Lincoln University College and a member of the Working Committee in Malaysia Citation Center, Ministry of Education in Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming our next speaker to talk on the topic sustaining quality education using networking as an approach. We have Dr. Sandip Podar. Sir, welcome to BiPSU.
Thank you and good morning to all the Philippines delegates and from Malaysia also. It is good morning and good evening to Dr. Rodolfo and abroad. I am thankful for your vivid description about me, Mr. Ralph. And I'm also thankful to the organizers, especially the Dr. Sushan, who give the introduction, Mr. Rommel, and of course the President, Sir, Dr. Victor, Mrs. Jennifer. Thank you all for inviting me in this gathering. I just share my screen. I think everybody can see my screen now and my sound is okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So today you are here around 100% I can see in the Zoom platform. And of course in Facebook also I have seen many persons watching. So today we are here to discuss about the networking management strategies. And it is my part to discuss about the sustaining quality education using the networking as an approach. As all of you is a participant of business class, Doctor of Management, I think. So we will discuss on education sector little while. As we know, what is networking? Even first networking in childhood, we see the spider web, the network, how a spider make a network and why he make this for his own survival. He make it for his nest. He make it for catching prey. He make it for his survival. Again, I am telling. So without this net, he cannot survive. And while we are discussing about different types of networking, when Miss Bele from BiPSU have contacted that you have to talk on networking. So I am thinking about what new networking we should talk, because networking not a single side thing. It is a net. And first I think that it is maybe a neural network, because I am from biology background, you can see. That's why I am thinking that it may be a neural network. So how the neuron cells working, how my body is moving, what I am thinking at present, all the 96 delegates thinking that we are in Pennsylvania and now suddenly come to Malaysia. Now, what my mind is thinking, mind is the fastest thing in the earth. So when I'm sitting here in Philippines, I am thinking about different things. I may think about my breakfast. I may think about my lunch today, because today is Sunday. So Sunday, how I engage myself in the afternoon and evening, how in this COVID, I will prevent myself and my family safe. Different types of mind game playing in my mind. So I am thinking that it may be a neural network I have to discuss. Then think, no, it may be a computer networking, because network, if we type in Google, fast is computer network. Types of network you can type different types of computer network. And without computer network, I cannot talk with you now. network disruption, then I cannot talk. So then comes, I am thinking that, okay, it is a business class, we must think about the business network. As all of you are business graduate, so we should concentrate on business network, how we can proliferate our business, how our market sell, our publicity, marketing management can grow, our economy can grow up. So as soon as we're thinking about economy, we're thinking about banking sector. We go and purchase things by money. And now it is cashless transaction. We make online purchase, everything. If we think that huge amount of money is e-version, e-money, not that cash. If we think about cash, I have to transfer from one country to another, you need millions of ships. But that does not happen. Only 1% of something is hard money. And 99% is cash, we can on paper, on electronic version. So there is a huge networking is going on in banking sector. If you think that, okay, I have $10,000 in my bank, next day you find you have zero because for networking problem. So there is a networking disruption in banking sector. It may happen. So networking in HR, when we are talking that this is the HR platform, because HR persons, HR graduates are here, all are human resource personnel, and I am talking with the doctorate level persons of human resource. So how to how to maintain the HR? Sitting in office, I have to monitor my shop. You can think that operation management. If suppose we have petrol pumps in different sectors, if the owner of the petrol pump sitting in the petrol pump, the answer is no. Then how we monitoring the business? Is it the business closed down? No. Many shops open and close down because no proper business strategy. So sitting in one corner, I fix a CCTV in my shop, and in my locality, I check the shop, what the customer need, and also through the internet, I am monitoring the shop business. I am maintaining full HR control through networking. I am hiring people through network. I am firing people through network. We will discuss a little bit on this also. And then we think, no, we should discuss about social media network, how it helps. And because we are in social media, everyone, and we think that, like my previous speaker just now told, he posted some Instagram cook. So I also post some cooking because my background, you can see diploma in dietetics. So I used to like different types of nutritious food. So I also cook different times. It is my passion. Then I post in Facebook also, and I get comments. So there is social media network. But when we are talking about the doctorate level students like you as a participant, then we should think about the networking in research and education. That we will discuss here. And as you see, this cartoon, all the cartoons I have taken from internet. So the black box networking, what is there? It is, we have to invent, we have to think about it. So as we have seen that BiPSU have LMS system, learning management system. So when I'm talking about learning management system, there are different types of channels we see in LMS system. So starting from registration to student graduation, and in between we can see the communication platform, that chat, forum, email, etc. is there. And there are different types of communication media, audio, video, animation, like that. Now, just so when there are groups that have a purpose beyond networking, what is the purpose? The purpose of the group is to focus to a common interest of the people. That I have an interest. Why are we here? We are discussing about the doctorate level of management. We have to focus on this in common interest, that we are learning on educational network. We are not talking about what we are going to do in the afternoon or evenings also what. But it may be a related part, but our common interest is to discuss about the networking thing. And of course, that connection of personally and professionally. If I don't have any communication with you, then we cannot communicate, and there is a communication gap, and the networking will be disrupted. So whenever in our group, we should discuss on a common goal, then we should be passionate about our thinking. That if I don't like to cook, I cannot put a cooking photo in my Instagram or my social media. I have to have an interest in my subject. As we are studying a management subject, we should have an interest in my management strategy. When I am in college level, my parents ask me that, do you want to study my business administration management? It is 30 years back. I told no. That time no MBA etc. was there. Only MBA was there in India, in Calcutta. So I don't study because I don't like administration. So what is my interest? Accordingly, I have to join a social media or a group or a networking platform. Then it can, if only then, if I have a passion, if I have an interest, then I can get a positive energy or positive vibe to survive in this networking place. So I have to create a learning environment. Why? It to be a meet with other people, connect and grow. If I don't have meet you, I don't discuss, I have no connection with you, I am sitting in Malaysia, and then I cannot grow myself. I have to share information with you, and you have to share information with me, because you are all educated persons, and also you have some knowledge within you. That knowledge I don't have. Everybody has some separate knowledge entity in their mind. So having more common bonds and give you opportunity to have a meaningful network connection. For that, we have to create a learning environment. Then it is a long-term investment of time. It is not that short-term that I make a connection and after that it closes down. We chapter close, short-term memory. I board a bus, I know I have to sit first row, I am going office, after that, after next week, I forget already which seat I sit. I am boarding a train, I have a seat number. After that, after 1 month, I forget already which seat number I traveled. It is in short-term memory, because that is not necessary to keep my connection. But I have kept in my connection that I have graduated from there and I have taken the certificate, and I have like that. That is a long-term memory. What is my name? What is my father parents' name? So like this is my long-term memory. It is not short-term memory. So there is a connection. That connection is more important, which is I have to keep and which I don't have to keep. As my previous speaker told, that networking is a very fine thing and we have to keep it. Very crucial. If certain thing happen, it may break down. So having targeted and focused approach, so we are in business, so we have to industry specific. Then suppose somebody is working in restaurant, somebody working in other industry, so their education industry, their industry specific approach, and we have to collaborate our networking in that approach. Even if I can involve other persons from different approach, other industry in my industry, it will be more good. So I can grow with my niche within my industry and we can target our focus group. Then what is the social media we can do? And there are some key things. Be visible and consistent in the forums you choose. Then offer content of value, that we don't just talk about myself or something. We have to share some important themes which is helpful to the group. Then connect others within the forum. As I told, different industry persons and different persons can join with me so that my information is shared and be genuine and authentic. Suppose what is the connection from different industry? Few months back, I have published one article on sick building syndrome in a human resource. What is the effect of sick building syndrome or sick building symptoms on human resource? So that is a new concept. And if the architecture of the building, if the building planner, and if the owners of the industry don't look after that matter, it may hamper the human resource system. So it will hamper our human resource management education, and we cannot apply, we cannot get the output from the workers as it related to the architecture and in other planners of the building. Then, as we know, social networking is previously and also now also we should meet physically and discuss. During conference and events, we go for lunch and we discuss with other friends what you are doing, how can we collaborate, and etc. etc. Then this is the networking. And now we do this in the social media by chatting, etc. And there are different types of social media, as we know, that Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, that I don't have to discuss here. So we have different media to meet with each other. So with this, we are advancing in this era. Then there are some tangible benefits of this networking, that learning what others have to offer. As previously one participant told, yes, it is a learning, knowledge, sharing our knowledge. We are human beings, so we have to share our knowledge, experience, and strength. We are not robot. So then only we can grow, and something new we can get, and we can grow further. This is the tangible benefit of networking. Then we develop self-confidence, like we on camera, my previous speaker several times told, on camera and talk with me, so that you can grow self-confidence. And building self-confidence is one of the most important thing in the networking thing. So if we close camera and we don't want to come in the front and we are mimicking others, that copy, okay, he is telling good, so I am also telling good, that's all. Not like that. We have to think ourselves out of the box and tell what is the thing. Then what people want to belong. We have to think about that. Don't hold the power of belonging, because you know that you want to belong somewhere and someone. Then we have to build a web of connections, as I told previously also, that more holistic and well-rounded personally and professionally, so for keeping the sustainability of our networking. And it shrinks the world, as sitting in US, sitting in Malaysia, sitting in Philippines, sitting in other country, we are here. We are shrink to a platform of a group of sharing knowledge in the same motto or same goal. So networking consistently communicate your company brand as a management student. So you can see the cartoon that the business networking growing up. Then we have to develop communication skill, like it is a relay race. If the baton with communication is not there, baton falls, then the race will be lost. So we have to create a good communication skill between you and me. I am talking in different language, you are talking in different language, then communication breakdown. Like just an example. So we have to develop a communication skill properly. As we are in virtual classroom now, there is very many difficulties. Only one way I am speaking to you. If everybody speaks, we cannot understand anything. It is a chaos. But in physical classroom, everybody can raise hand and talk anytime. That is available. So there is multi-channel, but in virtual, it is mono-channel. So we have to keep in mind that in social media also, sometimes it's mono-channel. What I have told. Then everybody may not respond. But in physically, when we meet, everybody can discuss with each other and respond to each other. And we can see from the face. Then the networking will bring business to my company. So different types of business can grow with this networking. We can find a great talent through the networking, because I don't know people and I am suddenly found Philippines and Malaysia. There are different types of person with different types of talent, like just now one person sings. So he have a talent of singing and thinking that, yes, this is related to this song, and that is the talent he has. Now we have the main thing is long-term relationship. Like a tree, it grows. And it cannot that after a tree we cut down the tree. It happens also in relationship. We cut the tree for other purposes, the communication break down. But generally we make a long-term relationship to grow a forest from a seed. Now, when we are talking about the research, I will show you that this is a citation map of research networking. So now we are going for the research talk. Now just 1 minute, I see one chat is there. Okay, no problem, not yet. Now, everybody of you are having doctorate student, so must have WoWBiPSU ID. This is very common because it is your identity. Every person have a unique number, like this is my number. So every person have their own number, and by number it is identified. Many person of having the name of Sandip Poddar, but my identity with number, like a prisoner, I am identified with this number. You can see the Scopus ID. There are different types of 3-4 Scopus ID, but all merged together with this WoWBiPSU ID. So my Scopus ID is this one. Now, when we are talking about the networking, you can see when my Scopus profile, you can go to Skyvale, etc. if you have the option. I don't have the Skyvale subscription, but many university have, many library have the Skyvale. So you can see that you can analyze that most contributed topic. What are the most common contributed topic? Cited by 123 document. Who cited my document? 121 co-author in Scopus, you can see. So the topic, so these are the different types. What are the publications of mine? You can see, and then you can analyze this graph that how many citation I have in different years of which paper, which article. So more easy if we go for Pablon or researcher ID or Pablon ID. This is also important for all of you. How must do researcher ID, because you are all in research. It is not that you are a owner of a small business. Now you are studying a doctorate level course. Doctorate level course means not a level 7, level 6. It is a level 8, already higher level. So there is this means differences. What is the difference? We are differentiated by research and education. So we have to apply it in our field. So when we go for Web of Science Research ID, this is my public profile. You can see this. Now you can see how many publication, which journal I have, then how much review I have, etc., etc. What review record, verified reviewer of different journal. But now when we are going for private dashboard, that after signing, you can see the private dashboard. You can open anything. It means anybody, if you don't have, you must open. It is free. WoWBiPSU ID also and Web of Science also. It is free account. And Scopus, if you have Scopus Index publication, it will automatically create it. Then you sign in. Now you see the private dashboard. Many things you can see. First, I show you publication. Okay, publication you can see. Suppose different publications are there and citation numbers are showing here in this, because it is 2021, even not citation started. And you can see allometric data is here. Now, if I click on this allometric data, this allometric data will show that in the social media, how my paper has been discussed. So see, it is showing mentioned in Twitter 1, so citation dimension is 1, and readers in Mendeley is 18. 18% in Mendeley, they read the paper, this article. Now, in this demographic of the Twitter, you can see the Twitter breakdown. They have breakdown. Which country? The geographical breakdown. That one in Malaysia. You can see tweet from Malaysia. Maybe it is personally I have tweeted, so that one they catch. Okay, it is not that maybe outsider. So we also can see here that who are the person cited. Maybe other one we can see which and more have more citation. That one you can see more. You see this one 4. So when we are discussing about our research and collaboration, we must know who is working in my field, who is thinking in the same line, because my discovery may go backdated if I don't cope up with them. So you can see this geographical breakdown, this article, US 3, New Guinea 1, and who are the persons, member of the public 6, scientist 3, science communicator, journalist, blogger 1. They have read and they have cited my article in US and of course in other New Guinea. Okay, so these maps and these breakdowns are very important. So 10 tweets, and we can go to the tweets also, that what the tweeter told. See here we can go directly. They're taking the rose aromatherapy. They are talking about my related articles, and my article about the my article also they have discussed in these tweeters. So we have to know what, how, where, and when it is cited. Then only you can see the citation map from here. What I have shown there, you can see the citation map of my full profile. This is world map, and this blue is showing the citations. Suppose this one 14. Let us see. With this 14, 3 from Barcelona. So what is their citing? We see more. Say this is citation in Spain. In this article, they have cited my article. Autonomous University of Barcelona, that micronucleus frequency in copper mine worker exposed to arsenic in modulated by this polymorphism. So this article have been cited my article. This one C2, Autonomous University of Barcelona again. These 2 articles have been cited my articles. Okay, like this we can see who are the authors, what are the discussion section, and how they cite, which part they have cited my article. Accordingly, I can get connected with that person and tell that yes sir, you have cited my article, so I can share my more research with you so that my research field will grow further up. See, University of Murcia, a review on exposure of effect of arsenic in birds. So we can connect with this person. We can click on that paper and that paper will open. Then we can connect with email very fast. It is not that to 30 years back when I do PhD, there is no email and internet. We have to write postcard. Sir, I have seen your reprint. Kindly give me permission and send my full reprint to me. If I send 10 postcard, one, of course, they will immediately they send. 5, 6 reprint come by post, hard copy. So that is expensive and time consuming. We take 3-4 months to get a reply from author. But now it is, you can see, immediately you can see the paper, the connection of the author, then what is which university, which publisher, and see more data feeds. All can be seen. Which grant they have using Academy of Finland, European Commission, and this article also cited 277 citation reference and 64 times cited. So this is very important when we are in doctorate level study, and this is the networking we have to do. And we are here all together. As we can see, as soon as we go networking, we can do international collaboration. And this international collaboration will increase my networking capacity. Like this copyright, I have filed from Indonesia. So it is a collaborative approach. Everybody can do. Like Philippines, you can file from your country, and from Malaysia, I can support fully. So in collaborative approach of copyright, patent, etc. also can be done. We have filed patent with international collaboration also, and also granted patent also there. I have make industry collaboration here in Malaysia itself, and that product has been patented from Australia, and also that product has been launched in our university with the industry. So these are the things where we can collaborate and grow our research and education. And all of us is working together to sustainability and sustainable United Nations sustainable goals, 17 SDG goals, sustainable development goals of United Nations. And the last one is the 17th goal, that the strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. So when you go for the website of United Nations, you can go anytime. I just showing the link. Here, United Nations, so capacity development, finance, financial inclusion, technology, science, trade, and national development strategy of different goals, related goals, all are there. Many things. You can, there is a explore, you can explore what is your role, how you can take part in this. Accordingly, you can proceed. It is not that what I am telling, you have to follow that. What you are thinking, what is your capacity, you should grow up. We are here to support. So you can see, as we are talking about the networking in education, Facebook, yes, from Facebook, one journal, suppose we are running this business journal, International Journal of Recent Trends in Business and Tourism, you can see the editorial board. Just before few days, last week, I have talked with this professor, Claudia, and then I have talked with Dr. Christina, and in the Facebook, and they agreed that, yes, I want to be your editorial board member. As they know me in the Facebook from long times, so immediately I respond. Within 5 minutes, they reply, yes, I am agreed. It is not that I have to give a mail and wait, etc. Because we have a network connection already. We're discussing in the same goal in the Facebook. So immediately, Dr. Christina agreed, yes, I shall be your editorial board member. No problem. Then, when we are talking about international collaboration, this journal, we are running from Australia. We have opened an Australia publishing house. This one. Lincoln Research and Publishing Limited in Australia we have opened, and you see the books I am publishing from there. It is one of the University of India. The editors, this editor is the pro vice chancellor of university, and also of course her background is human resource management. You can search very famous Professor Shashmita Samanta. He is the pro vice chancellor and also human resource background that I am to focus. So the books of different authors, different colleges, different institutions. This person is a very famous economist. He has his own blog, and you can see the backside, the cover. All books is edited and written by him. So how much educated person, and how I get connected? I am get connected only through social media, and of course sometimes in conferences, etc. So this is the goal, and you can see when we are publishing an article, if we share my article in the Facebook, in the Twitter, here is the Plumex matrix. You can see this article have not cited, so Plumex is not moved. But if we cite the article in Twitter or anywhere, you can see the Plumex matrix will grow, and it show how many person have cited the article in Twitter, in LinkedIn, and social media. Okay, so we should cite our article, means we should circulate our article that everybody should read my concept. So this article has not yet started citation because maybe the author not means what you call not circulated this year yet. So this is just this year published last issue. So in July, so it not yet cited, citation not yet there by the Plumex matrix. So if we can get networking more, our citation will go up and we can get well response. As I am telling you that I have written one article in this journal on SBS related human resource. You can see that you can read the daylight illumination and building architecture effect at workplace. It is open access, and if you read the article, then only understand that what is the means inside, that how it is connected with architecture and of course the human resource and the medical, what you call medical relation with this article, means with this concept. So you can see this later on. I will give you the link, or you can directly go to the link and check with this article, so that you have an idea that how human resource you can work on other places through this networking. So poor daylight in sick building syndrome, it leads to less productivity and quality, and business will go down. Okay, now if we go, you see this Google Scholar. Everybody have Google Scholar, I think. Who have a publication must have publication. If you don't have in doctorate level, you should go for publication. Even we can help in publication. Even BiPSU have journal in, you can see Research and Innovation, Journal of Science and Technology, BiPSU have. So you can write in Science and Technology Management based article in that journal, or you can send to Lincoln also. We have different books and journals. There is no problem at all to support. So when we go publish our article, we have our own citation index, H index, citation index, I-10 index. When we are studying doctorate level courses in networking, and citation should be more. As networking go up, citation go up. If nobody read my article, my citation will go down. Now you see here a notification come, add co-author. So as soon as I add, so this person will be added as co-author, I confirm, then only I can add. I don't add any fake, means others article or who is not co-author. It is a Google suggestion, so it may be wrong. So we have to be very careful when we are adding. Yes, I know this person and it is my co-author, so I give added. So now it is added, as a co-author in this list. You can see right side. So these are my co-author of my article. So somebody may some article suggestion will come and you may add. Suppose I'm going to add articles, add articles. So it will Google will give suggestion that yes, Poddar, whoever has Poddar, he will tell that yes, it is your article. But I have to choose. No, this is not my article because I have to be authentic. You see, this article, International Social Science, this is not my article. So I have not selected this article. It is not automatic. I am not giving the permission automatic to Google. I am selecting when they suggest. So this is not my article. Dream memory or something, or fast analytic power model, dream memory, it is not mine. So I don't select the Indian economy, etc. We must be careful. We must be truthful what we are doing in our research. We should not do anything which is not our work, and we should not, if we do, we have to give credit. Like this picture I have taken from website. It is not my drawing. So that type of genuinity and in the networking, we should be clear. We should give proper acknowledgement to that creator. Then only, if I am truthful, then only everybody will be truthful and our network will be stronger. As you can see that BiPSU and Lincoln University College make an memorandum of understanding last month with the help of Miss Belly, and with this platform, we grow this very slowly in social media. Then I give one lecture in BiPSU, then we go for MOU, and now again I am coming here to discuss my knowledge and sharing my experience with you. So this is a continuous process. It is not that we make a MOU and show and get a university file done. We are continually moving forward to grow it further. We want to help everybody, and this is the networking in collaboration. Very minute work have to do. If anybody fails in the chain, communication breakdown, the full network will be disrupted. We should be very truthful in our network, and we should be very punctual, very passionate to keep it alive. If we don't give water to a tree, the tree will not survive. So if we grow, and if we have to prevent the tree from getting insect bite or anything, we have to keep the tree safe. Very crucial. Like a glass, if it is broken, we cannot carry water. So the networking should be stronger. If a wire is cut anywhere, the electricity will not flow. Then the motor will cannot run. The car cannot run. If the car want to move, the networking of every system should be stronger. And maybe it is a Tesla car, driverless, or with driver, if maybe computer associated, it may not be computer associated, my brain associated, because everybody is associated with brain, it is not with computer or anything. With this, I must thankful again to Brilliant Province State University and the Faculty of Management and School of Studies of Business for inviting me and giving me this prestigious platform to share my information with you. So any question and you want to discuss with me, please proceed. I want to hear everybody's view with this in this platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And right now we are going to start the open forum. So may I call on Dr. Maribel Dipagan to help us moderate in the open or facilitate the open forum.
Unmute, please, Ms. Dipagan.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry for that. Thank you so much, Dr. Podar, for that talk. You have integrated research into the networking, into your networking message. do you have any questions or comments or additions to Dr. Padar's presentation? You may type in your questions or comments in our chat box or in the comment section of Facebook or in YouTube Live. So Ralph, do you have any thoughts?
Thank you so much, Dr. Padar. We're just only expecting about your topic, sustaining health education, but you integrate research, and it's very helpful topics, because especially that we are a research university also. And we have here our graduate students with us, so we can help also. I'd just like to ask if the journals in the Lincoln University College are these journals Scopus journals or ISI journals?
No, our journals are not yet Scopus. Our journal is indexed in Malaysian Ministry of Education. It's on my site. You can see the citations are there in the website itself. But it is Plumex, and every matrix you can see, cross-reference DOI is there, etc. is there. So if you, for the starting, if we suppose, my suggestion for the starting, suppose bachelor level 5 or 6 student project, a project is there, or master's level student, they have a project. So that one they may have an idea with the teachers, they can produce an article that may not be able to go to Scopus, and sometimes Scopus get more time. So for starting, we don't think about Scopus. We start with different types of journal. Like my the 1998, when I published one article in my PhD time, I don't know about the Scopus or anything. That time Scopus is not so thing. My guide told, send this paper to this journal. So we type, make a printout, post it. That time post only there, airmail, and that was printed in from one of the journal. Now I found that journal is Q1 ranked, 84H index, and if we want to submit article in that journal now, taking 3,000 USD, open access in Elsevier. So that journal, and now my article is open access now, and I had not paid in that time, 98 means almost more than around 25, 30 years old that time. So when we start, I have written my article in my institutional journal first. At my university, Calcutta University, you can BIMS journal. When I do my master's level study, I have published one article in Juice Print, that also you can see in internet, in Frog Leg. So I have found one microhyla, one specific small frog, and I have taken the photo on my hand with my guide. My teacher taken the photo of the frog on my hand here, only on small inch, 1 inch long. And that frog I have taken to Geological Survey of India to identify. Then we have published the article in Juice Print, Juice magazine. So everybody read on the amphibious means field. So here also same. If we don't think that all article, of course, we will go for Scopus also, we will go for Web of Science also. Of course, we will submit other articles in different journals also. We don't close our networking.
Thank you, Dr. Padar, for, that is one very good tip. So for starters, let's not aim for the top one. Let's just do baby steps at first. Yeah, I can relate to what Dr. Padar has mentioned. I also published my first article in it was like a Q3 journal, a Scopus journal. And then I didn't know that it has become Q1 now. So let's start with baby steps. And who knows, later, the journal that we have submitted our publications have become Q1 or Q2 already. So it will still matter. Okay, some more questions. There is a question from, no, a comment from Mr. Boone, Colorado. Thank you, Dr. Podar. I wish to contribute in the research field by propagating this principle of multi-linkage system. I just wish. Okay, Sir Bon, can you please elaborate what you mean by this?
Wait lang, Mama. Yes. Hello, good morning to all. Can you hear me?
Yes, please tell.
Hello. Yeah. I think my internet is unstable, so I will just off my camera because it is also using extra data for internet. Thank you. I would just to expound and clarify my points of this because I am inspired of all your presentation, Dr. Pudar, because you are walking the talk and you show us the evidences that you are really into this multi-linkage system. I just call it by my own term as a multi-linkage system because it is also a system that yes, of course, I would like to also to expound the point of this because we in this world, we are not an island, that all of us, we need the contribution of everyone. So by this, we could look into a perspective that we as an individual institution, country, or any body should be developing, not being against with each other, but we are developing for supporting for the development of also with other institution or in anybody. This is the bright principle of using this multi-linkage system. That's all. Thank you for the inspiration, Dr. Pudar.
Thank you, Mr. Colorado, for your sharing your views. Yes, I again want to share one thing. If the time is there, Ms. Jipagan?
I think we can accommodate.
Okay, just I show one too that like this. We have My Medar, a website of Malaysian Ministry, where the medical related article with Malaysian co-author and Malaysian Ministry Index Journal, PubMed Journal, and Scopus Journal will come. So if any article related written with the Malaysian co-author, these articles will be displayed here in this My Medar. So this is a collaboration. How the other country author is collaborating. Then, as just now Mr. Collier told, that yes, different types of research you can do. You can see these articles that applying machine learning approach, then structural behavioral string structure and computer simulator software. Then in health also, this supply chain using machine learning, backorder prediction. So IoT system-based system, cement back counting system. Then machine learning perspective, analyze diabetes. These are the different types and approaches where we can work on. It is not that one way that I am working in HR means hire and fire. It is not like that. HR related with how the HR means the person will work full positive mind and spirit in my company. If he is depressed, my company is depressed. So like that, we have to have different types of approach to move forward. Thank you. Good suggestion is good topic you raised.
There is another, another comment from Sir Balondo. My take on the talk of Dr. Sir Jeremy, can you please say it? I think you are here on board, so can you please, share your thought?
Hello, everyone, and hello, Dr. Podar. I am inspired by your talk, sir, because I think there is a need to network with the researchers all over the world to the same researchers with the same field of interest as you are as in our research, so that we can expand our horizon and also share knowledge.
Okay, thank you, Sir Jeremy. And I think we will just accommodate last one question. And I think the question that Sir Ryan Hapay raised a while ago to Dr. Altamirano is also relevant in Dr. Podar's presentation. Sir Ryan, can you please repeat your question? Are you still there, Sir Hapay?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Zipagan. But I would like to ask a different thing, no, to Dr. Podar. Hello, Dr. Podar. Good morning.
Yes. Now, good morning still.
First, I would like to say thank you for integrating research, no, in your talk a while ago. But this time, I would be asking more on professional learning networks, because as educators, we aim to be connected to advance to our craft, and that is why we link to some learning social webs or social websites. And on the other level, we also hope to teach our students to use networks for them to be prepared in the job market. Dr. Pudar, could you please, if there are, could you please give us some professional learning network sites that we could access for us to facilitate learning and for us to achieve meaningful interactions?
Yes, if we have different approaches, like if we think about the publication, we can go to Scopus and SBR, Scopus SBR blog. There are different types of blogs, there are different types of write-up is there. We can take it, but it is sometimes all is some marketing focus. Sometimes you have to choose that, yes, this one is helpful and this one not helpful. So there are ResearchGate and there are different types of blogs are there. We can join in and take out from there which is needed for us. We sometimes they want money, and suppose I am organizing a training program. I will circulate and I demand money. So that is not our motto. We have to learn something. If yes, sometimes it is in my budget, I can join with fees. If it is not out of my budget, I will not join. So we have to think that what is related to our field, accordingly we move forward. It is not that you go to Google Scholar and search what is your topic, who is working in that field. You email him, then your network will grow strong. You can share your views, sir. I have read your article and I want to use your article and advise in my research area. Please share your views. So he will be happy and he will be happy to share his views with you. In this way only, one person working in Nobel laureate's lab. It is not that everybody can go. Who has passion? Yes, I am thinking about RNA only. I am thinking only COVID. So I will go for COVID research. I am thinking about, suppose, management on economic side. So I will search economic person. Who is the economic person best? Then I can get connected. And he will help. I assure you, you don't have to lose anything for connection. Because I am here for not means I have something to deliver. So I am not losing. I am gaining information from you. So I can request, like I launch the book, I request the professor and she agreed. Yes, I agree to become editor. And of course, I will contribute with my co-authors, with our university, our co-authors will contribute in the book. So like this way only, our networking grows and we share our views and we can go further.
Okay. Sir Ryan, is your question answered?
Yes, Dr. Bell, thank you for that.
Okay, thank you so much. In the interest of time, I will just give my final my takeaway as an ender to the talk of Dr. Podar. The major takeaway that I have learned from his talk is that the web in the analogy of the spider is essential for us to survive. So in order for us to improve or develop in our chosen field, we have to expand our horizon and networks by taking the baby steps if we are starters. And from there, just like in research, we have to do our best to create very presentable research. And then from there, it will create a ripple effect of connections. So let's do our part, because if we will not move, we will not have the web that the Dr. Podar has mentioned earlier at first in his talk, at the beginning of his talk. Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Podar, for your time. I'll now give the virtual floor back to our host.
Thank you all for giving time of yours in this Sunday to listen and share your views. All the 100 participants I can see, and of course, all the participant, it is your valuable time I have taken. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zipagan, and thank you so much, Dr. Podar. Personally, I'm overwhelmed with the data that you have presented, and I believe it is very useful for us, especially as we begin to write our own research. A virtual applause for Dr. Podar, please. And now we would like to present the Certificate of Recognition with the following citation. So Biliran Province State University School of Graduate Studies, in cooperation with Gender and Development Office and International Affairs Office, present this Certificate of Recognition to Dr. Sandeep Podar for sharing his invaluable time and expertise as resource speaker during the international webinar on networking management strategies on September 26, 2021, online via Zoom and FB Live. Signed this 26th day of September 2021 at Biliran Province State University, Naval, Biliran, Philippines. Signed, Victor C. Canieso, University President. Again, thank you, sir. And before we end, we would like to request again for photo ops. So may we request everyone to please open your cameras and let us smile again, a long smile. So smile. So keep on smiling, please. Okay, thank you. Thank you again. And
thank you, Dr. Victor, sir, President, sir.
Thank you, sir.
For present.
We actually have a lot of participants today. There are from Ormoc, other from Pangasinan, not just all over Philippines, but also overseas. We are overwhelmed with the presence.
Thank you.
Thank you again, sir. So by the way, we have posted the link to the evaluation form of the seminar through the chat box and through the comment section of the FB Live. Please answer the evaluation, as it is also one of the requirements in order to get a certificate for this seminar. And again, please register your attendance to the seminar through the Google Documents, as we also need your email address to send the certificate. Okay, there's the evaluation link. And now, to formally close this seminar, we would like to call on the Vice President for Students and External Affairs, Dr. Erwin Salvachira, for his closing remarks.
Our University President, Dr. Victor C. Canieso Jr., vice presidents, invited resource persons, faculty, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Our sincere appreciation to Dr. Rodolfo Altamirano and Dr. Sandeep Pudar for your excellent talk about the various network management strategies. Let me also thank the students from the School of Graduate Studies for their active participation on this webinar that made this event more fruitful. This webinar is filled with insightful contents on strategies on how to manage and monitor our networks. This topic is relevant and timely, especially now that we do most of our engagement in the virtual world. And as the technology evolves, network management is becoming more essential. I am truly satisfied that the students are able to get many takeaways from this, and that they are able to experience different examples that are useful to them. Barking on the comment of Stephen Hawkins, if at first you don't succeed, try management. Again, I would like to reiterate my appreciation and gratitude to resource speakers today, Dr. Rodolfo Altamirano and Dr. Sandeep Pudar, for rendering their precious time for this webinar. Again, thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much, sir. Our virtual applause, please. So to everyone who are here with us today, especially to our University President, Dr. Victor Canieso, and all of the University Vice Presidents, Dr. Susanis Bentor, Dr. Erwin Salvachera, Dr. Rossini Romero, Dr. Marian Agnes Mendoza, and to the Director of International Affairs Office, Dr. Maribel Zipagan, the Director of GOD Office, Dr. Marian Dagailoan, our very own Professor, Dr. Concepcion Gayorama, and our guest speakers, and to all of the participants and officials who are here with us this morning. From the DM613 class, we would like to thank everyone for joining and for actively participating in this seminar. And again, before you leave this platform, please click the link to the evaluation form. I believe it has already been posted through the chat box and through the comment section of FB Live. Please accomplish the evaluation forms. Thank you and have a nice day.
Wala pang link, ma'am.
Apologies, Sir Salot will share the link right now. So the link is there now. Please complete the evaluation. We could also send you your certificates. Again, thank you everyone. And after accomplishing the evaluation forms, you may leave the Zoom platform. Let me call on the attention of all of the students in class.